These are the type of watches that I like. Practical ones. This is the first watch from RZE, which is very, very different. Now I know this company makes robust titanium watches. They've all got ultra hex hardness coatings. They're very versatile and very usable daily wearers. But this new release is offering some new bells and whistles, and they are very welcome features indeed. On top of the solid titanium materials, they've now incorporated these new additions. You've got an on-the-fly adjustment clasp, 300 meters of water resistance, and the icing of the cake, an interchangeable bezel system. You got 3 screws, the bezel comes off, and you replace it with another one. Too easy. These are the sort of watches that make major brands play catch up. And the features that are in a watch like this are actually practical, they're not gimmicks. Having the ability to swap out a bezel on a watch has a twofold effect. The entire dynamic of the watch's look changes as well as the wearing experience. And the reason I say that is because the lighter dialed bezel on this watch has made it appear bigger on the wrist. So for bigger wrist guys, this is really cool. And for smaller wrist guys, having a darker bezel creates an optical illusion of a smaller watch. That's pretty neat. And what are the specs of this watch? Well, I measure a case diameter of exactly 44mm with a case height of 13.3. The lug to lug comes in at 52.9 with a lug width of 22. The crown is situated at the 4 o'clock. It's a 7.3mm signed screw down crown. The watch offers 300 meters of water resistance, and the total weight on this bracelet sized to my 18cm wrist comes in at exactly 152 grams. And I did mention that the light coloured bezel looks bigger on the wrist. You see, originally that's how it came out of the box. This bezel was on the watch and I liked it. I actually liked the look. It sat well, it looked well. And then I scuffled through the paperwork and I had a look that there was a second bezel. So I unscrewed it, put that one on, completely different dynamic. It looks bigger, it wears bigger, it's got a purer, cleaner look on the wrist, and I like that. And looking closely at the side of the bezel, as you can see, there's 3 screws, so it was really easy to change out. Now getting back to the watch's wearability, on my wrist 18cm, the lug to lug distance 52.9, that's pretty much stretching it. So it seems to sit alright, the legibility has been great, even that height, I measure 13.3, that's been really comfortable. Now one of the heroes of this watch has been the comfort on this bracelet. In fact, this watch, which comes in at exactly 152 grams, has surprised me. It's a big watch. It's a 44mm and it's been so comfortable, especially with that clasp. This is a welcome addition. Well done, RZE. And looking closely at that bracelet, as you can see, female end links. So it pops straight down, really nice. You got screw pins. The clasp itself has got about 8mm of on-the-fly adjustability. That's a real welcome addition. So you can adjust it while you go as the wrist expands throughout the day or contracts. This is wonderful. Now turning my attention back to the watch head, as you can see, the legibility on this has been phenomenal. I've been able to read this watch in any lighting situation. I think the applied indices with a combination of that handset, which has got black outlines and a generous amount of lume, has made this watch a real easy reading experience. And speaking about the lume, it's Swiss Superluminova. As you can see, the bezel, the handset, the applied markers. For me, RZE has never disappointed in that area, and this watch has got lume in spades. Well done. Looking back at those bezels, as you can see, swappable, 3 screws. The action, you got a 120 click unidirectional. Very nice action on this. The slightest amount of back play, and it's spot on. So a really nice system there. I like what they've done. The fact that it's so easy to swap out has made this a very practical watch with different types of personalities. Now turning the watch over, you can see you got RZE standard caseback, and hidden behind that caseback you got a Miyota 9015 automatic with a custom date wheel. As you notice, the date window at 6 o'clock, white numbers on a black background. For me, everything seems to be balanced on this dial, and I think it's working for ultimate legibility. and practicality. Lastly, the sapphire crystal on this watch is doing a fantastic job. It's flat, it's got anti-reflective coating on the underside, there's no washout, the dial has been super clean. Again, RZE knows how to do a proper sapphire crystal, and this watch seems to hit the nail on the head. Now, what are the drawbacks of this unit? First cab off the rank for me is that lug to lug distance, 52.9. It is ideally suited for the bigger guy, the bigger wrist. When I did wear the watch with a grey bezel, it did look quite big on the wrist. As soon as I swapped it out with a black bezel, it seemed to look more contained. A visual optical illusion made the watch look smaller on the wrist, which is great, but it is still a 44mm watch. Another potential gripe could be that date. Double digits were a little bit difficult for me to read, so the cutout, the window itself, is a little bit on the smaller side for my eyes. And that's pretty much it, guys. Because the comfort, the practicality, the lume, the legibility, the functionality, gee, there's really not much to fault in a watch like this. So apart from its overall dimensions, which like I mentioned, it will be suited for a larger wrist, 18 centimeters and over, ideal. For a watch of this size coming in at 152 grams on my 18 centimeter wrist on this bracelet, it's been a real joy. If this was steel, you could easily be wearing a 200 plus gram watch on your wrist. Well done, RZE, hats off. I like seeing innovations like this. Get on their website, I'll leave the links in the description like I said, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. This is a prototype, so if you did see any marks or imperfections in any of the close-ups, it's because of that factor. Apart from that, very close to a finished product. It's been a great daily beater, knowing very well that having a hardness coating, you're bumping this thing around and not seeing any marks brings a new meaning into the word as a daily beater. You're really going to struggle to beat this thing up. Thanks again, guys. Be well, be safe, and we'll see you all in the next one.